What if it wasn't Jason as the killer this whole time? How do we know for sure that the hockey mask killer in Friday the 13th is truly Jason Voorhees? If we think about it, he's never been truly positively ID'd in any of the films, and it's seemingly presumed to be him by the authorities, which, given their track record of assuming that he drowned, losing his thought to be dead body in a hospital that should have been teeming with people, both security and reporters, after his murder sprees at Packanack and Higgins Haven, and their failure to track him down and properly warn the residents in the area about a psychopath on the loose, not to mention the false information about his cremation, makes me feel like the reports of his identity are not exactly trustworthy. We ultimately assume it's him as well due to his reactions to Jenny wearing Pamela's sweater and the shrine he built around Pamela's head. But what if it wasn't actually Jason? What if Jason truly died back in 1957 and Pamela, in her grief, found this almost identical substitution that may have reminded her of her son, living in the woods in the shack that we see in part 2. Crazy? Possibly. But hear me out. Jason drowns in 1957, and we see the murders of Barry and Claudette in 1958. We know that since then, the camp has reopened and forced to close multiple times due to sabotage. So that means it's likely that Pamela kept a close eye on the area to ensure the camp remained closed and a final resting place for her only child. But what if, during this time, she found the shack in the woods, or possibly even knew one of the doomsayers like Abel who was living in the shack? And what if he wasn't alone, possibly living with the same person that would eventually don the hockey mask, causing Pamela to mentally crack further due to the similarities that both this boy and her son had in common? Or her fractured mind may have fabricated in her madness, possibly befriending this boy and even Abel and constantly calling him Jason, maybe even going as far as forcing the identity on him completely, to the point that the boy may have even saw Pamela as his actual mother, which may explain some things we see in the films, such as Jason's snap reaction every time his name is called, almost like a dog that did something wrong. Meaning that if this is true, then Pamela was quite abusive with this boy, and her conditioning him to believe he was actually Jason was a violent one. Also, his willingness to listen so obediently to Jenny while thinking she was Pamela, which doesn't make a lot of sense. If this was actually Jason and he was living alone without contact with his mother all of this time from 1957 to 1979, which, given his reaction here, also lends itself to the theory as well, as I think that Jason would have been far more feral, and his solitude would have likely diminished his memory of his mother, especially after 20 plus years. And let's not forget the weird, unexplained moments in Friday the 13th where it almost seems like Pamela is throwing a body through a window one moment and then pulling up in her Jeep the next. What if this boy helped her during those murders, which would explain the attack on Alice and her eventual death, and the quick access that he would have had to collect her head, sweater, and machete? But that's my fun little theory. Something to play around with. Do you agree? And what are your thoughts? Comment below and make sure to like, share, and subscribe, as well as hitting the notification bell to be alerted whenever a new video is uploaded. Don't forget to also follow me over on Twitch and all of my other socials. Links are in the description down below. And as always, I am JG Dark. And thanks for watching.